Hey, this is John from the Disloyal Knights, here with the Alphamon deck profile. Recently, I got to top 4 in a box tournament at our locals, going X and 1 in a 5-round tournament, and losing to which I'll get into it in a moment actually. So, just gonna jump right into it with the megas, and we start off with 3 of the new BT13 Alphamon. Just really good card all around. Has protection, can't be removed from the field once, and helps you like stop big monsters, big Digimon from swinging. Next, we play one of the older Alphamons, the one that de-digivolves from BT9. Still a good card. Truthfully, I don't really see much use for it, so I might end up cutting it. There are some changes I want to make that I'll get into in a moment. Next, we play D3 Oriumon. I think this is standard in like every Alphamon deck. I feel like you have to play 3 of them. If you play any less, you just don't see it as much as you need to for the OTK and game somebody. And then 2 Oryuken. I want to fit in a third Oryuken. Just the way my deck is structured, it's a little hard at the moment. But I might make some changes, and if I do, I'll get back to you guys with it if you guys would like. Alright, next for the Ultimates, we play 4 of the new Doro Greymon. What we were missing, Doro Greymon, the name itself. End of turn lets you tuck a card from your hand under it. Lets you tuck more for during with its one Digivolve effect. A big facilitator for stacking and getting Oryuken set up. The one-off, because just have to play it, we can still TK with this stack, and just getting this is just still wonderful. Even if you don't actually evolve into it, it's still great just to get it because the rest of your line now has protection. And then lastly, 2 of the Dexter Greymon, pop the cards, pop the memory blockers, the memory gain blockers, and any other like nuisance. It's just overall good. If I could, I would fit in a third Dex, because having 3 of them just is nice, but at 2 you see it enough. It's not detrimental not having it. Next for the champions, we play 4 of the new Dorugamon, 2 of the old one. We play 4 and 2 because it costs 4 and allows us to choke easier. And if they like turn 1, if they give us 3 memory, you can put a rookie in the back and then just hard play this, leave them at 1. And then you have like a nice like setup that you can have the rookie in the back just relaxing and like slowly building it. And this one you can just go into your 3 and just start building it from there. And like I've done it, it's great. And then lastly, we play 4 of the Dexter Rugamon because this card is just ridiculous. Changes to the champions I might make. The blocker inheritable X antibody card still like extremely viable. I don't really see a point for black hybrids in this deck because I don't play that many black tamers, which you'll see in a moment. But definitely the black the X antibody that gives blocker was probably like a really good choice for this that I might want to fit in. Next for the rookies, we play 4 of the Dorumon, 1 Ryudamon. Decoy's not really necessary anymore because of the Alphamon, and then 1 of the Dorumon that's discard 1 and draw 2. Just nice to cycle. Nothing really to say here, but I will be making changes to this especially, and I'll get into that in a moment. So yeah, so far 6. Then I play the 4 Sunarizamon. Gives us secure attack blood, gives us piercing if we need it. Good card, helps us OTK, amazing card. Alphamon survives because we have Sunarizamon. And then lastly, Tuchikurimon. This is for the Alphamon, the Royal Knight matchup. Good into Royal Knights, good into Blue Flare, which are kind of annoying matchups for you. Good into Shoutmon, and to an extent is good into Hunters too, because you can stop them from doing the combo where they just like for 2 they just play a rookie, and then they can X-Cross over it. It just lets you stop that. Honestly, I didn't really see a problem with that. Even in those matchups, I was still kind of like in a position where I was ahead regardless because of the rest of the line. Because you have protection to most things, it's just the blocker you get ridiculous, and like the amount of damage you output is like fast enough. This doesn't really matter. I'm probably gonna cut this from more of the other rookies. Most likely, I'm not a big fan of Ryudamon right now because you don't really need it. Probably the Dorumon, less cycle or deck faster. But maybe there's another black card I'm not seeing that a black rookie that we can use that facilitates that. I like playing off the cards. Next for Tamers, we play 2 Yuji. Uh, Good card. If you can fit a third one, go for it. I think 2 is great because I see it enough. And and 4 Cowboy. It's literally never gonna miss. Everything here's X antibody minus the Sunariz and the Shikurimon. Great card. You just if you open it up with it and you're like kind of breaking, this will unbrick you almost like every time. And then once you get the Dorugamon and the Dex Dorugamon, like you have your combo to just start cycling your deck extremely fast and getting a lot of memory gain. Next one, X antibody. Off the Cowboy, it's good. Um, I might cut it. I didn't really see a use for it in the games that I was playing. Like, it's a nice card to combo with. Maybe not cut it, but if it stays in the deck, it definitely stays at once. People like running twos, people like running three. Not for me. I was testing a while ago the Dex X antibody option card that lets you evolve into Dexes from the trash. And I was actually coming up a lot more than this does because it lets me run a lower count of them, and then like explore more of the deck. So that might change if there's another change. Guys will hear from that. Next, do a Black Memory Boost. I feel like this has to be like at 3. Anything less is not enough in my opinion because I feel like this plus Cool Boy is like the best thing you can have. Like you open up with these, like you're probably gonna win that game because of the sheer like pressure you put on. Then lastly, we just play 2 Conga. It's purely for the Shine Greymon matchup. The second format is by the best second format, but one of the best second format because Greymon there for the Royal Knights. This is there for the Shine Grey matchup, which honestly, even against like other matchups, this card's a good card. Blue Flare, Hunters, like anything that attacks with cheap cards, because this plus Alphamon, you pseudo lock most decks down from attacking for a turn, and it's kind of ridiculous. I did that too. I'll get into it in a moment. One of my matchups that actually came up and they just couldn't attack for the turn, or they were forced to a really awkward position to make a really awkward play that didn't really get them anywhere. Alright, so, and then lastly, just the 4 babies, Doraemon. Well, just because. Matchups. Round 1, I went to Black War. I lost 2-1. First round, uh, Black War X just can't get over Black War X. Unfortunately, that I feel like that's a big counter for this deck. Also, if you try to Ori, you can combo them. Once you unsuspend, it just gets popped. So there's lots of play around there. So they just kind of get a bigger body than you, and then they can stop you from doing your swing. So the first game that happened, the second game I was able to OTK him. The third game it happened again. It was closer. That game I actually decked out because I couldn't get another Oryukin out because unfortunately I had to tuck one under. So that's why I want to fit a third one because if I had a third Oryukin, I probably would have been able to win that game pretty easily. Um, Next round was against the Omnimon EH4 deck. Um, game 1 he won. Game 2 I just kind of kept sitting on these so he couldn't attack and he couldn't remove it, so it was kind of free after that. Uh, so yeah, that was a pretty nice match. Definitely in my favor. Game 1 is mostly because I bricked too. Um, but that was the only time I bricked during the rest of the tournament. The round 3 was against Belfimon. Um, this just counters rage mode entirely. There's no real way to get around it. And then Conga like stops him from able to swing with your little bodies. Like Congo MVP'd like that tournament for me 100%. And the combination of this plus that was just amazing. Round 4 was against a Blackboard deck actually, and that one was 2-0. I realized that me pushing out early was the way to go about it while he was searching his cards. Just start getting bodies out because once he starts trying to like counter me and like pop my stuff, as long as I have something to lean on, I can like retaliate, digivolve it, so on and so forth. Because that was the only game that this Alphamon actually came into play for me. Next was Shine Greymon, and that was another game where I kind of feel like Shine Greymon doesn't really beat Alphamon all that well because I have protection from the DP reduction effects. So all I did was like early on, I just kept raising the Doro Greymon out and kind of slow playing it. And then once I got the Alphamon, I sat on it, and then I was just chipping away for a little bit, aside from when I had the OTK. But the game didn't actually last that long. And game 1 and 2, I saw the Alphamon and the Konga like in tangent with each other. So there wasn't really much my opponent can do while they were still looking for their pieces. But for the most part, it was like in my favor entirely. Um, what ended up winning the tournament, if anyone was curious, was the Black War person that beat me in round 1. He went against Hunter, and he won that because Black War. Hades Force was just what won that match. And then there was, and then my score third and fourth was me and a Jessamon deck. If people are curious about that, so that was our top four. I believe the other decks for top eight was Belfimon, Shine Gray, I believe took one slot, Bloom Lord, and the last slot I'm not entirely sure. It might have been Red Hybrid. Not too sure on that, but it was a pretty no, it was Royal Knight actually. It was Royal Knight deck that took like top six I think. But pretty good, pretty fun tournament. I'm happy with the result for this deck, and I'm gonna edit it slightly, and we'll see what happens next time I enter with it. Thank you for tuning in, and you know, get ready for more content.